Hey, what's up? Otaku Mike here. Let's take a trip back to the 90s and talk about Youngblood's issue number 1. So our story starts out at the mall with Shaft, who has just become the new leader of the Youngbloods. He is ex-FBI, and he is at the mall getting interviewed by this reporter, and I also think slash maybe his girlfriend, I'm not for sure. And he stops a mugging and also ends up getting almost assassinated, but he ends up killing the assassin. After that, he answers the call of the Youngbloods with the other members of his team, like Chapel, BADROCK, and VOGUE, and they end up going off to stop this supervillain team called the Four, and they basically save the day. Then we end up on the B-side story of this issue, where we get introduced to a lot of more characters. Specifically, they are part of the away team. They're more of the covert operatives, and they are after this specific terrorist. His name's like Ghassan Hussein or something like that. Very reminiscent of like the Gulf War and stuff. And he is a bad dude, and they end up sending these members to go try to track him down and kill him. Some of the members end up getting taken out, and one of them, I believe his name was Sci-Fire, I think his name was. He ends up actually getting into where this terrorist is located and actually kills him, and they end up like basically saying the terrorist like committed suicide. So let's take a look at the internal artwork for Youngbloods. Here is your creative team right here. One thing I have to say about this that I did actually really like is they recolored the entire first issue. They added this sort of prologue story at the beginning, which I don't know if that was from something extra or not in a different issue or something. But they do recolor everything, which the colors do pop. And I feel like does add something to this, especially if you're rereading it for the or reading it for the first time. One thing I have to say is Liefeld does some wonky perspectives in this and has some kind of wonky anatomy, and that's kind of like a personal preference. Like I'm not a big fan of that, but I know some people kind of are. And the character designs are very 90s, I feel like, and very Liefeld. He very much, I feel like, is grabbing from other characters that he's already created, or he's imitating or trying to sort of copy characters that we've already gotten within like superheroes and stuff like that. I mean, everybody kind of does that nowadays, I feel like, but it seemed very obvious in this issue with some of the characters that we get in this. Now there is some cool action in this, and we get some pretty cool double page splashes in this, which it's not bad. But yeah, the artwork wasn't really for me, and it very much should have stayed in the 90s, and it's very much a product of its time. But hey, I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so just because I didn't like it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like this kind of artwork. But yeah, this is a lot of the artwork for this issue of Youngbloods. I feel like I have so many thoughts when it comes to Youngbloods. I picked this up on a whim. Now, I am a child of the 90s, so I do remember Youngbloods being a thing, but I never read Youngbloods. So I'm coming at this with a fresh set of eyes. I remember it was a thing because the image was very popular in the 90s. I read a lot of Savage Dragon and Spawn and like Wildcats and stuff like that. I never got around to Youngbloods, but I know Youngbloods does kind of have somewhat of a reputation, to say the least. You definitely love or hate Rob Liefeld, I feel like, if you're a comic fan. And for me, this story did not work at all. I know that they did change things up for the deluxe edition. They did update on dialogue, and they sort of rearranged the story a little bit in different parts. But man, this was really confusing, and I had to read it like a couple times. But to be honest, like, I didn't really get into the story. It didn't necessarily grab me. They very much introduce all these characters and don't really give any like uh sense of like who these characters are, what do they do, what are their superpowers really. They just kind of just throw all these characters at you, don't explain anything really, just give you like the bare minimum of kind of what exactly is going on, and they expect you at this moment to sort of piece everything together. Like, I really do have to say, the first story in this, it kind of really amounts to nothing in a sense, and really the more interesting story is like the B story with all like the covert stuff. That's where things kind of more get explored in this, but not really by much, you know. And I get it, they're bringing this out for like the 30th anniversary or whatever of Youngbloods. It's cool that it's getting kind of reprinted. People do get to revisit this series or experience it for the first time, like myself. But I feel like they're very much polishing a turd in a sense. And it did not work for me. This comic sucked. I was bored for a big majority of this comic, and I can't justify picking up any more of this. It was not a really good read. But let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like Youngbloods? Do you not like Youngbloods? Are you excited to pick up these new deluxe editions that are coming out? As well as I think there's a new series of Youngbloods coming out or has started to come out soon. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna talk to Mike. I'll catch you guys on the next video.